We're trying to get every physical person a digital avatar so that they can actually represent themselves. They can own that avatar and not be compromised by hackers and fraudsters that are out there.
Hello and welcome to another episode of IT. My name is Sanjay Chakravarti. I'm the founder of Tagit. Today's guest had his first exit at the age of 27. He sold his company to Sun Microsystem for $75 million. He was a EOY finalist, EY Entrepreneur of the Year finalist in the year 2016. He had his next exit in 2016 itself, another $300 million exit. Today, he runs a company called 1Kosmos-BlockID. I'm absolutely delighted to have with me Hemen Vimadalal, dialing in from US, and who fortunately is my immediate neighbor when he lives in Mumbai. Hemen, welcome to the show.
Hey Sanjay, thank you for having me here. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Hemen, you know the format of the show. So the first question, who is Hemen in one breath?
Simply put, I'm a family man, a friend, and a father. The 3 F's dictate my life, especially since the birth of my daughter 5 years back. So FFF is what I live by. I love my family. I'm the best friend of my friends. And I love my daughter a lot. And I want to be the best father that is out there, trying to be as good a father like my dad was to me.
Super. Hemen, the second question, tell us something more about 1Kosmos-BlockID. It seems like an extremely exciting proposition.
Look, yeah, Sanjay, the premise of my new venture essentially is to reduce identity-related thefts and fraud across the globe. Today, as we know, I can talk to you about it. I can talk to myself about it. You know, we've all been victims of identity-related issues, of fraud around your own identity, of credit card charges that have happened on your identity that you've not realized it. All of that has become a talking point in every household. People are so scared about financial data. People are so scared about sharing their account information and any of that. We are here to solve that problem, is to reduce identity fraud in the world and give people their right to own and manage their own identity on the internet in the digital world.
Sounds great. Hemen, and I understand that you are using blockchain for this. The first question really is, I have struggled always to understand what blockchain is. Could you, for a layman's perspective, just lay out what is really blockchain?
Yeah, you know, Sanjay, everyone thinks about blockchain, and the first thing that comes out in their mind is Bitcoin, right? Blockchain is not Bitcoin, right? Bitcoin is an actually application that runs on the blockchain. The most important thing to know about blockchain is, growing up, if you were a kid, what you used to do when your parents used to give you some money, right? And they used to be like, this is your pocket money. You manage it in a month. And you used to write it down on a piece of paper everywhere, how you used to actually manage that money, even the down to the dollars and the cents, right? Blockchain is exactly that. Blockchain is a technology that is a ledger, essentially keeps a record of everything that you do in the network in the digital world. And the best part about blockchain is it keeps an immutable record. It creates a network of networks where every data element that you interact with as an individual or as an organization is actually stored in multiple networks. So it's impossible to tamper with. So if there is a transaction that has been written on the blockchain, not a single administrator, not a person with God permissions can go in and change it, right? So it becomes this entire network which allows you to become the audit system of everything that you do on the internet with complete immutability. And that's the power of blockchain. And that's why, you know, with all these different applications that are actually working on blockchain, allow these applications to become foolproof with a lot more security, with a lot more anonymity. People don't worry about the transactions that go onto the blockchain because you know that they are for real and they are for life. No one can come in and edit it.
Got it. So now taking blockchain and identity together, right now, I guess passwords is what we typically use to protect our identity, or the OTPs that come through the phone. How is 1Kosmos-BlockID changing this entire thing using blockchain?
That is exactly the problem statement that we are dealing with here, Ray. There is the whole notion of Web 1.0, Web 2.0, which is what we are living in, and Web 3.0, which is coming in the future. The 1.0 was essentially, as an individual, when you talk about identity on the internet, you used to identify yourself with a user ID and a password on the internet in the 1.0 world, right? So Sanjay has got hundreds of user IDs and passwords, and you used to be like, okay, I'm Sanjay. Believe me, I'm Sanjay. That's first of all, you have to believe me that I'm Sanjay, and it's not someone else, right? So anyone can steal those passwords, those user IDs from you. And the 1.0 world kind of was annoying because you had to remember so many things, right? In the Web 2.0 world, you had the provision of logging in with a Facebook, logging in with a Google, logging in with a LinkedIn. So automatically, you do not have to remember so many credentials all the time. So your hundreds of user IDs and passwords became maybe 50, right? Because of all these social channels. But the problem in all these Web 1.0 and Web 2.0 world was that you gave up your identity, right? To a Google, to a Facebook, to a service provider, by identifying yourself as Sanjay as a user ID and a password, or log in with Facebook. Well, the truth is anyone could create an account on Sanjay's behalf. Anyone could identify you yourself as Sanjay, right? In the blockchain world, in the new world of Web 3.0, right? Sanjay will be the identity that he defines himself as. It will no longer be dependent on a user ID or a password. It will no longer be dependent on a Google. It will no longer be dependent on a LinkedIn. And that's the world we are entering in, is one physical you is going to be represented as one digital you on the internet. And that's the best part about it is you will be completely in control of your own identity at all points in time. And what 1Kosmos does is allows you to create some sort of a wallet. So think about, you carrying all this cash in the earlier days to carrying a credit card, and now having a wallet on your phone, which is your Apple Wallet or your Google Pay, right? So you no longer carry a credit card. If you do, you can for a backup. If you carry some cash for a backup, but most of the times you are doing a digital transaction, essentially using your GPay or your Apple Pay. That's exactly what we are doing for the identity now. You don't have to carry your passport. You don't have to carry your driver's license. You don't have to remember user IDs and passwords. We are creating that wallet for you that identifies who Sanjay is or who Hemen is at all points in time on the internet, so that you never lose that identity to someone else.
Wow, that's outstanding. And as you were saying, it's completely decentralized. So it's not that you, as your company, can be hacked into, and that thing can be then taken away, because even you wouldn't be able to really use it because it's spread all over the ledger.
Exactly right. I mean, the whole point of decentralization is that no one entity can control your identity or your transactions, right? It's spread out across the network. So your own information is spread across the network, but it's always controlled by you on the internet, right? So that's the best part about it. So no one can go in and tamper it. No one can go in and hack it. No one knows where the location of your information is on the blockchain. And that's exactly the power of blockchain. And that's what we are leveraging in our system now, by identifying Sanjay is Sanjay, not Sanjay being a user ID or Sanjay being a Facebook account.
That's excellent. Hemen, getting into the next question, you've been an outstanding entrepreneur right from the start. Tell us, what are your key learnings?
I'll tell you, entrepreneurship is, you have to have, two lives, right? One is the life of you within, and one is what you portray outside. And that's a fact for any entrepreneur, right? You are knocked out 9 out of 10 times, but that one time, you have to be able to demonstrate that there is hope, there is strategy, there is a vision that you have to be persistent toward. So, and the hard work is the most important thing in the entrepreneurship journey for me, right? No matter what, right? You have to work hard. If there's someone who comes in and tells you that no, this was easy, that's absolutely a lie, right? So hard work is the most important element of entrepreneurship. The second thing is, what I've realized is relationships, right? And I think if you don't build relationships internally within your organization and externally outside your organization, it's going to be very hard for you to actually break through an ecosystem, right? So those relationships are the most important thing, right? And the third is, Yes, you can think about a great product, you can think about executing on a great product, but if you don't have a team around you to build it, which is a cliche again, but it's one of the most important integral elements of being an entrepreneur, you need to have the right team on executing towards your vision and mission, right? So I would really, really say, having the right team, building the right relationships, and working hard towards your vision, your mission, your goal is super, super important.
Super. And I want to kind of deep dive a bit, given your experience. How do you find this energy to start from the scratch? Like on my first venture, and I think the most difficult days were the early days, and days are still difficult. But for you to have almost, you say you're standing at the summit and deciding, okay, this is not what I want. I just want to be back again, and I want to start my journey again. What really gets into your mind when you're doing that? And this could be for also entrepreneurs who have not tasted success, so they need to start again, or for someone who's successful as well. What goes in your mind to start all over again?
As an entrepreneur, Sanjay, the most important thing is, if you have gone into a journey and said that I have not failed, that means you're not going to go the long way, right? If you have a vision, you will need to fail, you will need to experience what a failure is. And so I would tell you that most entrepreneurs fail many times at every juncture. No matter how successful the organization goes, you will have failures at every level, right? And what I mean by that is, starting off in entrepreneurship is a failure, but how you pivot out of it, how you change direction, not the vision, but how you change direction, come out of it stronger. Let's say you become $100 million company, right? You will fail at that point in time also, but how you pivot to become $1 billion organization is a whole different, strategy, energy. I've, built so many different ventures, and I'm fortunate enough to be surrounded, being an investor in so many companies, to learn from all these different entrepreneurs. The most important ingredient is fail fast, right? To succeed more, right? And sometimes you just have to, move slow to succeed, right? And so everything has a pivot point, which you will need to experience, and you will need to come out strong. And that's the key part of it. They call me the Energizer Bunny in all these things. And the energy is what allows me, more the failure for me allows me to become more energized. Essentially, that's the idea. And that's the mantra that which, I want to live with in entrepreneurship is, I want to fail. I really want to fail, right? And how I come out of it gives me the energy to boost every day, so.
Absolutely. So let me get to that point of wherein, the question really is, what is that one thing in your personal habits that really helps you in your professional life?
My personal habit is every day when I wake up, right? The first thing that I think about is, what am I going to do the rest of the day, right? It's not what am I going to do 5 years from now, right? Rest of the day. And I think that is what allows me to not get overwhelmed and think ahead of myself. And so the every day is a new day for me. And when I think about today, I know exactly what I need to execute upon so that I can actually get to tomorrow, right? And I want to enjoy that journey, right? So, it's not about what you want at the end of the 5 years, right? But how you get there to have the pleasure of enjoying every day is most critical. So my vision, is a 5-year vision, but how I execute upon that vision on a daily basis allows me to actually get to the energizer state on a daily basis, right? So it's so important for me to think about the day, not the 5-year journey out,
That's really interesting. I really like that point. So Hemen, last question, where do you see 1Kosmos-BlockID 8 months from now and 8 years from now?
Like I said, I think the journey is a massive one, right? Today on a platform, we manage about 50 million identities on a platform. We need to get to half a billion identities in the 8 months. Then we need to get to 5 billion identities in the next 8 years, right? So it's a long journey ahead of us. There's a lot of work to be done to manage the internet identities and secure them on a daily basis. So our goal today is, how do we increase the number of identities that we protect through a platform? But how can we allow the people who've not had the privilege to be on the internet, to be secure on the internet, to come on the internet, right? And that's exactly what we're trying to do. Is we're trying to get every physical person a digital avatar, so that they can actually represent themselves, they can own that avatar and not be compromised by hackers and fraudsters that are out there, right? So every identity matters to us on our platform, and we have a long way to go out there. But I'm sure with the vision that we've got, taking it by the day, we will accomplish that objective.
Super. Hemen, I can tell you that, talking about the energy that you bring in, you almost, energize me even if I bump into you in the elevator. So I can pretty much realize the sense of energy that you are putting into this venture, and I'm sure of the rest of the work that you do. And I'm pretty confident that, this will be something that a lot more people will be talking about soon and using it very soon. I'm waiting to get my digital identity, by the way. Hopefully I should have it soon. I don't know how it works from a real checkpoint perspective, but hopefully we'll get that at a consumer level as well soon.
Yeah, I mean, that's the hope. The day I can get you the digital identity, Sanjay, I think I've met one certain milestone, right? But a long way to go out there. So we'll get there. But no, thank you, Sanjay, for having me here. I really appreciate your time and your friendship. And of course, apologies that I couldn't spend a lot of time, the last time I saw you. But I'm sure we'll soon get together and go out for some dinners or something. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks a ton, Hemen, and catch up soon.
Okay. Thank you, Sanjay.